Hello everyone and welcome to this week's edition of the Village Law SEQFC preview show. My name's Darren Lutton, I'm one of the admins on our page and it's time to talk football Gold Coast. Joining me as per usual is Mark Madge. Mark, how's it going?
Not bad, Darren, how are you? All good?
Yeah, good. Now we saw before we get stuck into the show, we need to give Surfers Paradise a little bit of credit here. They've entered the next round of the FFA Cup and they drew a long away trip to the Sunny Coast Wanderers.
That's for sure. A fantastic effort by them in recent weeks against Capalaba to get through to this round, and then drawing the longest trip of them all out to Sunny Coast midweek. But I guess, if you want to be part of those competitions, if your squad wants to be part of that commitment level is there, and rightfully so. So they'll be travelling up there midweek. It's not the first time a Gold Coast team has had to travel at this stage of the competition midweek. I know the Gold Coast Knights also travelled in consecutive years to both Southwest Queensland Thunder and Sunshine Coast in back-to-back years. So just another routine trip for the Gold Coasters up there. Funny enough, some of the players that playing at Surface's team this year made that trip to Sunshine Coast and to Southwest Queensland Thunder. So the likes of Teddy Watson, Dan Draggs. So, at the end of the day, I'm sure they'll be ready to go, considering. it could be worse, right? You could be going up to Redcliffe to take on Peninsula Power, no disrespect to Sunshine Coast or someone like that, but definitely need to fill the car up and get cracking.
Yeah, and we wish them the best of luck. Should be fascinating to see. Just 2 rounds. Well, there we go. 2 rounds away from the national round of 32.
The big one for them now is if both, if the stars align and things go to plan, we could see an all Gold Coast round 7 clash for a spot in the 32, which would be Gold Coast Knights hosting it as well. And obviously a lot of history between both clubs, both sets of players. More so the Surfers side, being coached by Alex Morrison, going back to the Knights for a spot in the 32. The draw could maybe there was heated balls, frozen balls in those ping pongs. Who knows? But no, I'm just joking. But stars align. Football does that. So I'm sure the focus will definitely be on this round. But then the possibility of an all Gold Coast round 7 would be massive for our region as well.
Have you ever done a cup draw?
I haven't. We've done one. Look, we've done dodgy ones here. Not dodgy ones, sorry. I'll rephrase. We've done ones here through hats. I brought both coaches in. All my draws we've done, they were live streamed. So there's no, there's no animations or anything like that. I once had a draw go cut out on me during live stream, right as we were about to draw the ball or as such. And I had to get both coaches there at the time, it was actually, funny enough, Surfers first Gold Coast Knights 2017 FFA Cup to determine who was home, who was away for the last qualifying step before playing Gold Coast City. And Alex Morrison, coaching Knights at the time, pulled out a ball, but the stream cut out. I had to get both coaches to literally say when we re-upped the stream, there was nothing dodgy, this is what happened, so on and so forth. So maybe it's good that that's probably why the premieres are in place and why they're pre-recorded. So I'm sure you've done one though.
I haven't.
You haven't?
No, I wish I could have done at least one.
Surely you'll get a caller.
Here's hoping. I'd love to just put my hand in and go, oh, that's hot.
That's a joke, yeah. That's probably why you're not going to get the caller.
Yeah, probably. All right, so just a few games on the weekend. Would you like to take us through the results, please?
Yeah, so we had obviously a split weekend because of the FFA Cup. So we had a couple of round 6 catch-ups. Completing that round, and we also had a round 3 catch-up. 2 of the round 6 ones to start off with. You had Burleigh versus Surfers. A big game for both teams. Surfers coming away 5-1 victors there. They went down really quite early. In the first 30 seconds, gave away a penalty and were down 1-0. And within 6 minutes, they were back to 2-1 up. So the attacking firepower that they have, was it on true show. Burleigh did have a penalty at 3-1 down. To make it 3-2. For some weird reason, the same player who took the first penalty didn't step up, which, Philo was a bit disappointed with, I think, post-match with that, as you would expect. One of their best players, Seb Boric there, didn't step up. They missed the penalty. And then Surfers continued to run on. Second half fizzled out. What wasn't much between the two teams. No one really pushing too much forward. I mean, at 4-1 at half time, there's not much really else you can do against a team like Surfers. As a lot of coaches alluded to me privately, them conceding a goal should be worth a point at this point. Only conceding twice so far in the league, one against Palm Beach and one from the penalty spot. So, and they've only conceded one in the FFA Cup as well. So they don't concede many goals, very tight at the back, which is a big point to mention. And then you had the late kickoff. It was wild weather across the Gold Coast for Friday night especially. And then Saturday, it kicked into gear right as kickoff, as standard occurs, between Broadbeach and Palm Beach. You know, the pitch, there was an area of the pitch there which the ball didn't roll as nicely as it should have, let's put it that way. And it was Palm Beach missing a lot of first grade starters, 5 or 6 of them, in fact, I think booked a little trip away, which I'm sure Brett wouldn't have been happy with that, but they booked that and they lost 2-1. So Broadbeach got the spoils out of that one. Big 3 points for Broadbeach, now putting them, you know, with 3 wins. So from the first 6 games, so they're 500, 50% of their wins. So, you know, tough conditions. Wind was swirling. With the rains coming in sideways, you know that there's a good chance that won't be much to it. All the action was in the second half, really, between both teams, but all the goals coming in the second half. And not much to it. You know, those Palmy now have some serious work to do. The good part about them is everyone seems to be taking points off everyone. So the table is very condensed, especially from that, let's just say, even the second position all the way down through to 8th. And let's look at Palm Beach at 9th on 4 points. They're only 6 points away from the top 4. Games can change things very quickly, as we know. And then, yeah, a bit of work, I think, now for Brett and his squad. And then you had a 0-0 draw against Nerang and Musgrave. That was probably the surprise result, not of the round, but of the weekend. The round 3 catch-up game, that game got postponed twice already. And by all accounts, could have faced another postponement. It was raining for the full 90, freezing, cold conditions coming from the referees themselves. It was very tough. Statistically, if you look at the stats, it seems like Nerang had a lot of opportunities. I know when a goalkeeper has played well, when the 3-2-1s come in from both coaches and the referee, that the goalkeeper was the man of the match for Musgrave. It shows you that he had a busy evening. But a huge point for Musgrave. I mean, if you look at their position at the moment on 10 points, they slipped to Burleigh after being 3-0 up. That should have been another 3 points. So they could very easily be in second position. I know you can say that about a lot of teams in football if that happened. I think being 3-0 up in the 55th minute, though, I think it's fair to say that you should close out the game. So that's my reasoning there. But, you know, now it creates a little bit of separation at the top for Surfers. They're 3 points up with a plus 24 goal difference to the closest. So, you know, those big wins that they've had early on, it was a similar case last year. Getting that 10-0 win against Robina first round, no one could make those goals up. And they've done it twice now this year. Musgrave will not get beaten 10-0 again for the rest of the season. So, I mean, I could probably be corrected. I hope not for Musgrave's sake. I hope not for the league's sake. But very hard to put 10 goals past any team realistically, especially in senior football at a Premier League level. So, you know, the table tightens even more. We have one more game to catch up on the Gold Coast before we're fully up to date, which is the Burleigh Southport fixture from round 3. And then we can truly see, you know, where we stand heading into the halfway point.
So let's have a look at this weekend's fixtures in round 7. We've got Runaway Bay up against Palm Beach, Southport against Robina, Nerang hosting Surfers Paradise, Broadbeach United up against Musgrave, Burleigh Heads take on Kingscliff. There's some great games there. Fantastic games, really. A lot to be played for this weekend. A lot of different storylines forming this weekend. You know, starting with that early kickoff, as you said there, Palm Beach and Runaway Bay. That's a big 3 points for either team. That could be the kickstart Palm Beach need, but it could also be Runaway Bay putting in Palm Beach in even more of a harder position with 3 points. Runaway Bay's in a position now, they've got tough games coming up. They've got the likes of Palm Beach, Surfer still to play.
and I believe Nerang in their last 3 games. So it's a pretty tough road. They'll be up for it though. They're young. A Friday night proves a different dimension, I think, on the Gold Coast these days. So definitely a must win for Palm Beach if they're going to push for a top 4 spot, I believe. And same with Roy Bay, 3 points here could be the difference come the end of the year where they finish up overall in their positions. Do I think Bay are pushing for a top 4 spot? I mean, they would be, but it'd be very hard for them to achieve, I'll be honest. But finishing as half the table, anything could happen from there. And then, the storylines throughout, you've got a top of the table clash, Alex Surfers Paradise versus Nerang. Generally, Lee's time at Broadbeach proved to be a hard one for Alex to overcome in years gone by in his teams, but they won both games against them last year. It'll be tough to play at Nerang at the best of times, and the late kickoff could show a lot there. Same with the Sunday game, Burleigh Kingscliff. You got Ross Fennick, who's a guest on our show quite frequently. He's facing the master, if you want to like for a better word, Philo, the one that taught him everything he knows. Working together at Burleigh for numerous amounts of years. So the first time they'll be coaching against each other in the Premier League, which will be huge. A nice moment for those two. And then the other 2 games, I mean, Southport would be expected to beat Robina, but having not played for a couple of weeks now, their last game, I believe, was the FFA Cup. So they do want to get back in the field and get some points on the board. And that Broadbeach Musgrave game is a big game. I think that'll be a very good indication of how serious and how much we can look at those 2 teams to see where they'll end up finishing for the year. It has a smell of a draw. I don't know why. A draw is somewhat my pick for that game specifically. I just think everything, coaches wish for draws as long as they're not involved. So a draw, everything has to be a bit more interesting on the Gold Coast. So by getting a lot of draws and a lot of tight games, it will bring everything together and make for an interesting run.
Last time you called that, it was a 3-0 victory. So
yeah, that is true. That is true. So, probably a 5-all thriller. Who knows? Still a draw, but it could be 5-all. Could be, who knows? Gold Coast, on their day, anything can happen.
I'm going to put you on the spot here. Out of Nerang, Broadbeach and Musgrave, which of those 3 do you think are the real deal this season?
Nerang. Definitely Nerang. Nerang have a fantastic mix of youth and experience all in one. They're a good, well-coached team. They've got a lot of good talent, raw talent. For them, it will all be about monitoring injuries, monitoring players, rotations. They haven't really gone on and thumped anyone yet. They haven't really kicked on as much as I thought. They could beat some teams by. They're getting through week in, week out, 3 points though. So that's all you can ask for, apart from last week. But Nerang for sure. Musgrave have the best, in my opinion, one of the best young talents on the Gold Coast in Jaden Sonta. So he's been fantastic for them, as have a lot of other players in their team and what they've achieved. So, they will be there or thereabouts. Broadbeach is a hard one. I hear that they may have picked up some pretty nasty injuries in the last couple of weeks. So depending on how they progress in these next few weeks will determine their season, but definitely Nerang out of the 3 for me. I think you can safely say Nerang will be in the top 4 come the season's end. The other 2 will be fighting for the 3rd and 4th spot, or 2nd, 3rd, 4th, if you ask me. And
do you think Palm Beach can get out of the hole that they're in?
Look, it will all come down to a couple of things. For them, getting a full squad on the park. I mean, their captain, Dan Smith, has just came back from injury, played the last couple of games for them. He needs to be fit and ready to go. They've had disjointed preseason. The odds are stacked up against them when it comes to player availability, when it comes to fitness, when it comes to a lot of other areas. They've played a lot of the big games. When I say big, in all respect to the teams, they played Surface at home already. They've played Nerang at home already. They played Southport home already. So they have to go to those 3 venues in the back end of the season, in the middle of winter, to try and get some points. You want to have some points on the board before going into those games. to drag some results. The back end of their season now, for the first round, will be crucial. Like I said, it starts this weekend for them. Then they have to back it up, continuously and hope that they can mount a run. Again, because of the nature of the league and how everything can happen, they could potentially, given the next couple of weeks, mount a big final surge, or they could potentially be the team that decides who makes the finals. When I say that, I mean they're capable of beating anyone on their day. It's just a question of, can they do it week in, week out, and put players in the park week in, week out. I won't bet against them. I still think they might sneak into the 4. I don't think they'll be pushing for a top 2 spot. I think 3 games down in the rang. To be honest, I don't think they're going to catch Surface. It's 12 points, 4 games. I don't think Surface are dropping 4 games. So it's really, can they catch second? And I don't think so. I think they'll be, if they're making the 4, they're going to be in the 3rd or the 4th position.
And out of all the teams, which one do you think is best equipped to beat Surface Paradise?
Good question. Best equipped to beat Surface on their day. Firstly, to beat Surface, I think, it's one of those that you need to hope that they don't have a good day, because it's not 1 or 2 players that have to have off days. There's a lot of good players there, with all respect to the other teams. Who's best equipped? Look, Southport got the point. Southport were the best equipped defensively to cope with them, because they have a defensive-minded style of play. When I say defensive-minded style of play, Steve focuses a lot on defense, which is shown in these years gone by. Nerang probably had the best. Nerang and Palm Beach, to be fair, have the best opportunities to beat them. The only thing is with those 2 teams is, can they match it for 90 minutes? And can they match it with them, more importantly, how many goals are they going to score? Because Surface are going to score goals. I could be wrong. I think, Alex, apart from that Southport game, I don't think Surface has gone too many games without scoring goals. I see this team scoring guaranteed 1-2 goals every game. I mean, the Southport game, everyone can turn around and say, but they didn't score that against Southport. That's correct. So how many can you score is the real question. If I had to choose 2 teams, it'd be Nerang and Palm Beach best equipped to beat them, mainly because Palm Beach has played a lot of games against them. But then again, you look at their record, I don't think Palm Beach has beaten Surface in a game in the last 3 years. So it's another thing, It's very tough question, tough answers, hard to respond. Again, it just seems that Surface train and that ball that just keeps growing bigger and bigger and bigger. And they just keep snowballing into effect and keep getting results and just keep rolling teams as they come. Oh, I think, you're back. There you go.
All right. We had some tech issues there. I think I lost you for a bit.
Oh. You got the main gist. I think I said plenty of words to get the main
Palm
gist.
Beach and Nerang are the best equipped, yes?
I'll say that, yeah.
All right. Let's take a quick look at the Coast League. Legends FC, where are they based?
Legends are based at Keith Hunt Park, which is also the home ground for Musgrave. They play on the over 35s. So they play on the other side of Keith Hunt Park. Yeah, you heard correctly. They're an over 35s team with an average age of, I believe, 42.
And they're top of the comp.
Yeah. Look, I wrote a piece about it in the Bulletin on Wednesday. I've told everyone that I know about it. I'm not afraid to say it. It's fantastic for them. Don't get me wrong. Well done. I mean, to be top of the tree, you're doing something right. The experience shows. It is embarrassing. And I'm going to say this with all respect to every Coast League player and club. It is embarrassing that an over 35s team is top of our second highest competition on the Gold Coast. I don't care what anyone says. I will happily entertain any phone call, any conversation about it. And a lot are in agreement with me. These guys don't train. They kick around. They're probably smarter. And their football IQ is 10 times probably better than anyone they face. But at the end of the day, they've played more. I reckon they've played more minutes of football than some of these players in Coast League might have even dared to think about playing or even been alive, because there's a lot of young teams in Coast League. So you cannot. I have no words for it. Credit to them, but it is embarrassing for our competition, for the state of our competition. The fact that the top of the table clash, they got past again, 2-1, they won it. Now we really have to start considering, can they get promoted? The answer is, well, I raised the question in Football Gold Coast. Yes, they can. They're an eligible club. They're a standalone club. So yes, they can get promoted. Obviously, it's a playoff this year with 10th. So, it is a very concerning part of our makeup of our competitions. The fact that a team put in there to boost up numbers in the Coast League and create more games is now top. I mean, there's not much else I can really say. I hope I wasn't too harsh. I hope no one took offence. But at the end of the day, I think many will agree. If you're a young team, if you're a standalone club with that one team, and these guys are pulling from over 35s, over 45s, and top, you got to have a good hard look at yourself.
Yeah, no, I take your point entirely there, Mark. I often have debates with people on you take the best team in Southeast Queensland of today, you play them against the best team of 10 years ago and the best team of 20 years ago, who would win that game? Legends are playing that experiment out for us at the moment, aren't they?
I mean, you could probably safely say if Legends were 10 years younger, they would probably go rivaling our Premier Leagues, as you said there. So don't get me wrong, there's more class, more football knowledge, more football experience, more everything playing at Legends week in, week out. There's no doubt, over 35 competition. As they always say in professional sport, father time catches up with everyone. The fact that you can be mid-20s, early 20s, late teens, early 30s, and let a group of players who average age of 42 beat you on a weekend competition, not a one-off, they're top of the ladder. At the start, it was fun. We laughed. I laughed about it. So 2, 3, 4 weeks in, that top, who are they? The number one thing I heard, who are they versed? That was the number one comment I continued to get. Who are they versed? Who are they versed? Who are they versed? Where have they played? So people are saying because they played at Legends in the early part of the year, it's a smaller pitch, it's suited for them. What now? What are we going to say now? What is our excuse now for all those players out there? What's the excuse? They played away at Coplix, Talabudra, beat them 2-1. Okay, now what? And don't forget, you got one of the best strikers on the Gold Coast to this day, one of the best strikers on the Gold Coast, not of gone, right now, Matt Hilton playing at Talabudra Valley who didn't score a goal. I don't care what anyone says. I couldn't care less. I mean, they missed chances. The highlights show, but come on, please, come on, seriously. It's a real concern. We never thought we'd be in this situation. If I have to go to a playoff game with Legends over 2 legs to have a spot in the Premier League, mind you, people don't realise Legends have a lot of restrictions in place on who they can and can't play. So they can't just go and pull a 34-year-old Teddy Watson from Surfers Paradise and play him. They can't do that. So they can only, there's a lot of strict criteria for them to be able to participate in that competition. One of them being that no players can be under the age of 33, I believe, or 34. So, seriously, it is and their resis as well. Shout out to them for being second on the ladder. I mean, you got to look at them and go, sheesh, seriously.
Absolutely quality rant there, Mark. Loved it.
It's not a rant. All love to Legend. You know what? At the end of the day, if they've gone this far, let's hope they go win it. But you know what? Let's hope they go win it because it will be the biggest fairy tale story. The Bulletin got so, put it this way, I do a lot of the coverage for the local stuff from the Gold Coast Bulletin, but they got one of their head sports journalists to write about the Legends. So I didn't even have to talk about it. They thought it was so funny and so highly of that, what is happening, that they went 4 weeks ago when they were 4 weeks in thinking, let's write a story about this because this is good stuff at this point in the season. When they drop off, they haven't dropped off. So, good on them. All my love.
We might have to get them on the show.
get Legends on the show, and I want a Legends jersey. Even though I'm 25, I'll take a Legends jersey just for keepsake. Why not?
Good stuff. All right, should be a great weekend. Oh, Coast League have the weekend off, don't they?
Oh, you've put me in a position now.
Looking at the draw, that's how it appeared to me.
Might be a wet weather. Could be a wet weather. You put me in the spot, Darren. I haven't done my promo for the week so far. I'm about to do it after this. It could be a wet weather because there is a lot of catch up for Coast League.
Right.
So it could be a wet weather round if I'm not mistaken. I think it is a wet weather round. There are games. Mudgeeraba playing Legends. I know that one. There you go.
Right. Okay. We might leave it there, Mark. Thanks for the chat this week. Just the two of us.
I know, just the two of us. No one wanted to come on, did they? It's becoming harder and harder. I think people are getting busier and busier, and depending on club situations and where they're positioned, people don't really want to talk some weeks. And I mean, it's the beauty of football. It's the beauty of being a neutral. I can talk about it regardless. So
that's it.
Thank you again. And again, I always like to mention special shout out to the Gold Coast Bulletin. I always like to give them a nice plug, covering local football and the superb coverage that we get. I'm sure, Darren, that if that was the case up in Brisbane at the early part of SEQ, you might not have found the gap there. But that gap was created. You built a fantastic brand and a fantastic coverage of the local sport. But the Bulletin, again, seeing that what that group means to the Gold Coast and that interest level and taking that on board. I mean, thank you again to them for everything that they do and continue to support local football. To everyone else and all the people out there, get out there, go get yourselves Legends FC jerseys when they're in the Premier League in 2022.
Great stuff. All right, Mark, we'll leave it there. Thanks for your time.
Perfect.
And to everyone out there watching, we will see you next week.
Thank you.